Welcome to the Small Talk Podcast. I'm Mike Smalligan with Smalligan Real Estate. Today we have two special guests, Mark Flockhart and Devin Kolenda with Valor Insurance. Mark also has a YouTube channel, so not only does he exceed at his insurance business, but also has a successful YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So let's talk about dominating YouTube. So how'd you guys get started with that?
Oh, that was more him, honestly.
Yeah, just kind of passion for making content and videos. It kind of meshed where we actually ended up doing it together a while back.
Okay.
We ended up, that's honestly where the agency started.
Yeah.
He was an agent at the time and I was just a trainer, and I'm like, all right, let's make these videos so we can get some, content out there and you can talk to people.
So it started for your business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that kind of where you're still at, or are you doing other stuff?
Yeah, so we've got a couple channels. The biggest one is Valor, because that's kind of the local community one.
Yep.
That's our main focus right now. We have another one that just pulls in kind of lead, honestly. It's kind of a lead generator. So when I say that, it's just giving people what they want to know.
Okay.
Right. We're trying to answer all their questions about insurance, help people understand, it's not a super complicated process, but there are a lot of rules and guidelines. And so we try to simplify everything that someone asks so that we can make it fun, exciting. We're trying to get a little more entertaining. So apart from a TikTok dance.
Yeah. All right. So I think putting it into a video form is going to allow people to answer their own questions almost. And sometimes I think some people would be embarrassed or not direct enough to ask questions because maybe they think everybody knows that answer, but to have that content online so people can use it as a resource. What inspired you to do that?
Honestly, it was kind of like something where I felt like I was giving back. It was like, okay, I have all this knowledge and I wanted an outlet to actually to talk to more people more often.
Yeah.
And so it just worked well. I like doing videos. It started with me singing to a camera and realizing that was never going to be a career.
Yeah. So that was one of your strategies for growth?
Well, no, that was just me being an idiot. It's just singing in front of my camera. I never uploaded those, by the way.
All right, well, so Devin, you send me them. I got some money for you.
Yes. Gotcha. That'll be worth something in the future. But I started talking to agents more so than customers. And I was like, how do you sell?
Real estate
how
agents.
do you,
or
insurance agents?
Okay.
So I was in more of a call center style environment where it was fast paced, high pressure, and I was their leading sales guy, right? And so I was in our call center, there was if you took all the call centers, 300 people-ish, I was in the top 5, right?
Sure.
So I thought that would be cool. Let's talk about my experience and my sales and all of that stuff. But the more I started making content, it started leaning towards insurance talk.
Yeah.
And then I found that most or the majority of people listening to me was insurance related.
Okay.
So then I just started making content on how to get the cheapest insurance, how to find this insurance, how to find the best home insurance, what does your realtor do with your mortgage broker that works with your agent, how to tie those
how does
together.
That all work together? Yeah.
Yeah, there's all of those pieces. And Devin was one of the few people that was actually knowledgeable to the level of what I thought an agent should be. So it was a natural fit. I was like, man, we gotta start making some content together. And that actually turned out to be a few years later, our agency.
Yeah, because we started Valor just to kind of, like I said, get leads and kind of just share the knowledge and experience that we've had and kind of help people guide them. Because insurance sounds complex, but it's really not. It's probably, sometimes probably people think the same thing about real estate. To me, it sounds complex, but maybe you could explain it to me so it's not. But that's all we were trying to do is kind of give people a quick way to understand so they could if they had more questions, they could reach out, and hopefully that turned into, helping, a win-win for both of us.
Yeah, and you're probably helping the industry as a whole, too, because other insurance agents and agencies are looking at you guys. What are they doing that's working? Mm-hmm. And they're probably doing something similar, right, to help the people that they're speaking to?
Yeah. No, actually, didn't one of your videos we find out was a training video for one of these bigger platform companies?
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the major. What was it, Auto
companies.
101 or something like that?
It was Get Jerry was the name of it.
Yeah.
And they're a pretty big guy out there. And one of my friends worked there at the time. He's like, he went into training. He's like, dude, this is your YouTube video.
Yeah.
We're showing your video as our training.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in New York now.
So is there like a coaching thing? So in real estate, we have coaching companies that help real estate agents do better. Is there that type of thing for insurance agents?
Sure there is.
I mean, kind of, but that's one of the reasons we're where we are today is because most agencies, like if you go to a large box company, and that's one of the reasons, the other reasons we started this is to show you like it doesn't have to be a large box company because there are legitimate like prices, good competitive people that have good rates in different companies. But a lot of agents aren't trained at all. No. So most of those large boxes, their model is get you licensed. You have to get licensed, and that shows that you're knowledgeable, which is 90% of us, I guarantee, wouldn't pass it if we took it today.
Okay.
Right. So
same with real estate.
It's
yeah.
very word heavy, right? And it's very it's designed to trick the smarter person into not understanding what it is. So once you get that license, you kind of I'm done. And then most places just sit you in a seat and say go get leads.
Yep.
And if you don't make it, great. We've got some sales from you. If you do, then we're happier. Yeah. So we're trying to fix that model to where we're actually training the agent. We want to be known as around Grand Rapids, but a knowledge resource.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. We want to make sure that every one of our agents has the ability to have those long conversations and sometimes the tough conversations, because what we're finding is the majority of the policies we're seeing are missing things.
Oh yeah.
I just wrote a doctor the other day that had $20,000 property damage. So if he hit a nice BMW, he now has to out pocket $40,000. Right. So he just
wouldn't
didn't
be fun
understand.
to find that out. Yeah.
Right. And we come across that all the time. So it's one of the pieces that we're trying to work towards. And yes, the videos are part of it, but I think it's also with the growth that we're trying to have and the agents we're trying to hire and train. I think that's going to help hopefully in the future for our local area.
Yeah, training's key, right? To bring people up, and the new agents that you're bringing on are ultimately representing you and your brand, and you want to make sure that people aren't let down, when they meet with you. So I think that's good that you're doing video to train and educate and also inform your clients.
Yeah, because a lot of people think insurance is just a commodity. Like, everything's the same. It's all the same. I mean, because a lot of agents will say, okay, well, let me look at your current policy. I'll just copy everything. It'll be good. That's not really the case, like he said with that. You know, I mean, there's so many people that don't dive down and actually have the conversations and find out about your life. And, hey, look, oh, man, you have this going on? Like, maybe we should talk about that, and let's dive down. And, it's kind of like that I'm sure you've seen it as an iceberg, the top of the iceberg. Yeah. Everybody's kind of sitting at the top of the iceberg, but they're too afraid to kind of get underneath the water and actually find out really what they should have and what should be covered for. And it's usually not more expensive. Sometimes we actually even save people money by doing it. It's just cover them the right way,
Either saving them money up front or in the long run, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot with the way home prices have gone up over the last 5 years, people not being properly insured. And I'm sure you guys are having those conversations too.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the inflation, because like the cost to rebuild houses, because that's what we go off of, the replacement costs. Those have all skyrocketed quite a bit. Hasn't quite dropped back down yet, because I know the price of lumber and labor has, but a lot of insurance companies are still on the higher side because they lost a lot of money, and that's one of the reasons why home prices are going up a little bit right now because of that. They lost so much money because they're trying to rebuild these people's houses for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 less than what they are insured for because of the inflation of everything.
Nice. So having the YouTube channel, I'm sure you've learned a lot. What would be something that like we could actually take from this? Because we've actually been trying to grow our YouTube channel, and growth is important to, I think, any business.
And that's one thing we realized, because we were thinking, okay, how do we connect with other businesses and the community, right? So our path right now is because we are fairly new. We're on our second year.
Nice.
Right?
Congrats.
So thank you. We appreciate it. We're connecting with the businesses first because we don't have the funds to jump into the community and say, here's a $10,000 check for, Kids Food Basket. We love you. We want to. That's like, a goal. But I think the piece that we're focusing on is we're actually going to kind of play with, and we're kind of starting a training for that for free for people that want to learn that piece of it. Because we do have a lot of now, specifically YouTube. YouTube is, if you think of any type of social media, so you've got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the one thing that you notice that you're always doing is you're scrolling.
Yeah.
Right? On YouTube, it's not the same. You're searching.
Okay.
Right? So how do you show up in that search field? If you go onto YouTube and you type in anything insurance related, one of our brands will show up, I almost guarantee. If anything, actually, I was on a podcast recently where they tested it.
Yeah.
And I think in the top 10, I think I had 4 or 5 videos that showed up. Just on a random topic that we picked up.
That's impressive. Probably not easy to do either.
No. Well, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? So that brand that we have is more widespread. It's across the U.S., right? So we are getting 600 leads coming in a month from that. We can only utilize 60 of them. So it's because we're trying to stay in our backyard. We're not trying to be the everybody to anyone. So we want to, like we said, we are trying to stay true to we are the Grand Rapids location and the Michigan-focused insurance first and foremost, right? And then, so we do have that option, but if you're trying to go more niche down and more local, then yes, you are going to get a lot less views. You go to our Valor Insurance channel, we're getting thousands of views, but they're pieces, right? We're getting pieces all over the place, and the content that we're making is organic.
Yeah.
So those pieces will show up 5 years from now as they will tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's our main focus.
What would be one thing you would say somebody should do when they're getting started?
The biggest thing is, one thing Devin's extremely good at is branding.
Yeah. Just kind of having a consistent message, like kind of have an idea what your audience is going to be. Because, I mean, you could go, man, what was I just listening? I was just listening to somebody and they're talking about a talk that they went and they crushed it the year before, but then the next year they went back. It was a different audience. They're more analytic and more focused on that type of stuff. So he actually bombed the second time he went there because the people he were talking to, it was almost more fluff, more stories, more, hey, look, this is like a journey, where these people, his audience at that time, they're very analytical, like, you need this, and this, and they just wanted steps and all this. So him going over there and not realizing who his audience was, it didn't resonate. So you really want to make sure who you're talking to, like, what are you looking for? Like, how do you want people to feel about you? Like, what do you want to come off? Just making sure those questions, the answers to those questions is really what's going to kind of help resonate, and you get those YouTube subscribers, like, kind of returning.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think having an idea of your ideal audience is something a lot of people talk about.
Yeah.
But you can't be everything to everyone.
Exactly.
And that's also what you guys are saying, right? I want to be the Michigan-based insurance company that knows Grand Rapids. And I think that's an important first step for sure.
Oh, 100%.
So on YouTube, what would be some key metrics or things that you should track when starting a channel, kind of at the basic level?
Yeah, there's a few things that, there's about 5 main things, but the first things you're going to think of is, it's kind of techie, but it's click-through rate, right? If you're showing up in a search, you're in the group and you're fighting all these other pictures and images. So how do you get someone to click on your video? Having your face on it, showing expression. There's 1,000 ways, and there's answers out there that you don't need me for that part. But like getting the right click to the video matters first, right? But once you've clicked them, back in the day there was the clickbait, right? So
sure, yeah.
the algorithm or the system has realized, if we want to focus on our customers, which is what they're heavily focused on, is what do they want to see? And they track that. So they said, okay, 1,000 people clicked on this video, but in the first 30 seconds, only 100 watched it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because they realize, like, if you're not getting straight into the content, they don't know you. They don't care about what you have to say. They just want that answer.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, dive right in, get that retention, which is what the biggest thing is get that average view duration to go as high as you can. So that's where people are like, how long or how short should I make a video? It's as long or as short as you can make it, right? As long as your audience will be engaged.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of finding that sweet spot and just analyzing, okay, here's my last 50 videos. Here's what my people did, right? My audience is 35 to 40 or whatever the case is, or whoever I'm going after. And then you can determine how long are they watching the content. When they leave my channel, are they watching another of my videos, or are they just going somewhere else?
Okay.
So how relevant? There's a lot of stuff like that. Like for the beginner, I'd say just get a ton of it, get some content out, get at least 10, 20, or 30 if you can, answer every main question that your customer would have. And I think that's the best place to start without diving into analyzing everything.
Another thing to back on that too is when you're doing it, make sure it's you. Your personality comes through, everything about you. You want to be authentic, because if people see you being fake or you're trying to force yourself to be a certain way, people are going to actually see that negatively. So you got to make sure you come out. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're connecting with you with. They're watching your videos and everything. They're connecting with you, not so much the content. I mean, yes, the content's important, but they got to like kind of relate to you somehow. So as long as you are coming out, those are the type of people you'll find also.
It's easy to fake it for a little bit. When you meet somebody in person, it's a lot harder to do it then, right?
Exactly.
Well, and you're going to give up too, because there's like eventually you're going to be like, this is worthless.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
So, being in the insurance business and on YouTube, would posting interesting content, would interesting content be misconceptions about the insurance business? Would that be a video that you guys are doing or something?
Yeah, we've got like a whole list of videos to come that we've created. So we've done the research ahead of time. And one of the things we're shifting to, which is kind of like the next level of video, is to be more engaging. Yeah. Right. So we're going to be a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of information, a little bit like trying to mix all those pieces that keep you watching while making it informational. Yeah. Right now, what we focused on and what still works is information.
Yeah.
Right. So when they come to our channel, we found the things that they're looking for in Grand Rapids. So how to get the cheapest car insurance in Grand Rapids, who's the best insurance in Grand Rapids. If it's not us, we'll still say it. We're trying to be authentic. But even if you still say like, okay, this company A is a better company than the 8 that I have, they're usually still going to come to you because they can't always necessarily know, like, or trust that company, right?
Sure.
So, and if they go there, they go there. Like, but at least you're being authentic and you're giving the information that actually adds to the community to give them the answers. You're going to win either way.
So are you sharing in just insurance information? Or are you sharing other information about?
It's a mix. So most of it, the long form videos are just insurance right now because it takes time.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes a lot of time.
Eventually, we will, be out and about with the community and trying to mix with that. We actually have somebody that goes out to different restaurants and different like bars and different community like around the area. So we'll try to once every so often do like a short video that promotes a company. So we might say, hey, go visit this restaurant. They have the best burgers, or they have the best this, and try to show some of the things that are happening in our area.
Okay.
We want to do more of that.
Yeah, who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
So, do you do anything with videos on Google reviews? I heard that's kind of a new thing.
Oh,
we haven't done anything with that. No.
Okay. Well, it's 30 seconds is the most you can do on those videos, and that's what I have trouble with. If I'm excited about a restaurant, I'll usually talk a lot longer than 30 seconds. But,
yeah.
30 seconds isn't long.
Yeah, to give a good review, right?
Yeah.
So when I think like insurance, there's like auto insurance, homeowners insurance. What other essential type insurances should somebody have or know about?
So I mostly focus on commercial insurance. So I do a lot of business insurance. Anywhere from, like real estate agents all the way up to like I'm working with some client now who, is doing a home care company. She's starting to do like the visiting angels type of thing. She's actually going out to other people's houses, helping them out, like, because they can't perform daily activities. So we're trying to get more involved in that more of the human services thing, and we want to actually kind of talk about like improving the community. We want to actually start focusing more on, at least on the commercial side of things, because we're trying to do both to some degree, because we want to hit the personal, and then we also want to do a little bit of commercial.
They're different, yeah.
But they are different. They're two different products that we're kind of focusing on. So, like and on the human services, we really want to go down like your nonprofits and kind of help them out. And we also want to volunteer, so it's kind of like a win-win. Like, hey, we want to come down, we'll volunteer, get to know you, and hey, if the insurance works out too, awesome. The nonprofits, your group homes and that type of stuff, to kind of really help Grand Rapids community grow to some degree.
So, personal insurance, like if I didn't, what types of basic insurance should I have? Like life insurance? Do you guys deal with that?
So we pretty much just we stick with what they call the PNC side, property and casualty, which is your home, auto, your toys, campers, that type of stuff, boats. We don't really do a lot of life. We don't really do a lot of health insurance. We work with really great partners that we would rather refer that business out to and kind of keep that relationship strong, because once again, it's kind of about, working with the people around us. So we kind of focus more on, try to help each other out and not try to do everything all at once.
Yeah. Focus on what you're good at and
Yeah.
put all your energy into that. That's something that a lot of real estate agents should take note on. So, how'd you come up with the name Valor?
So actually, I spent 6 years in the Army. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So we were talking one day, and I was like, you know what, man, I love working with other vets. I do work with other vets on certain things, some mortgage brokers, some realtors, and that type of stuff. So I was like, I really want to bring that to the forefront of, the name. So we went to talking. We both agreed, like, hey, that's great. Valor, honor, trust, and that's kind of what we're trying to portray. Is like, we're here and we're here to help.
Are there any specific insurance-related tips or strategies that you can share with our audience?
Focus on who you talk to. We don't always have to be the answer, right?
No.
You might have an agent you love and go to them and everything's great. But the first thing that I would say is understand your policy.
Oh,
so
yes.
if you want to use our content, great. Go to our page, watch the videos, talk to your agent, and see if there's pieces that are missing or things that you need to know about. That's probably the biggest number one thing that we see is people aren't insured correctly. And the unfortunate part is the industry is built that way.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give a good example. Hopefully my dad never watches this. About probably 10 years ago. So he's got some grace now.
Someone's now going to share this
it's
with
now a
him.
history thing.
It's all good.
He is, in my opinion, you're good, goes to church, he's faithful, the whole 9 yards. And when I first started insurance and I wrote him his policy, the first thing he thought of is like, well, what if I do say this? And what if I say, like, because everyone was taught to try to cheat the system, to try to just say you do it, but don't. And you'd be so shocked at how many times these companies, they know this, they see this, so they know when it's fraud, when it's not real. And when the agents let you do that, because it has become kind of convoluted with agents that sell.
Yes.
Right? That don't know the coverages, they know how to pitch you. And so they pitch you the cheapest thing they can get you, or they don't know and they just throw it at you and hope
They're just
you like
looking for a check, and they're not trying to help the person.
Got coverages.
Yep.
And yeah, maybe it does cost you $20 a month more, but it could save you $10,000.
For sure.
Right? Or save you a lot of headache. So giving that peace of mind, I think that's probably the biggest thing that we see to answer that.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys focus on Grand Rapids. Have you lived here your whole lives, or how long?
So I've only been up here for 8 years now.
Okay.
I grew up in Kalamazoo, so not too far away.
Not too
I
far.
met my wife and we moved up here, but you've been here pretty much your whole life, haven't you?
Yeah, almost all but a year.
Okay.
Tried Florida for a year.
1 year.
Yep.
That was enough.
I liked it.
All right.
My wife was like, no, too much sun.
Okay.
So, no, we grew up in Grand Rapids. Honestly, I would say this year I've probably been in Grand Rapids more than I have in the last 5 years. Just doing what we're doing, trying to be in the community.
Yeah.
It's shocking on how so many cool things are happening in the area.
All the time.
Yeah, for sure. So what keeps you here? Like, what are some of your favorite things in Grand Rapids?
So apart from family and like a lot of our families here, the biggest thing that I like as far as like things in the area, I'm a big disc golfer.
Okay,
So-
lots of those courses.
they're everywhere. There's one down the road. There's 5 of them within 5 miles.
Okay.
Right. So that's probably my favorite thing is to, on a lunch or something, just grab the discs, throw some shoes on, and go throw for a while.
Honestly, my favorite thing is I'm kind of a fat kid at heart. I love food. I love trying different restaurants. That's like one of me and my wife's favorite thing to do is go try a new restaurant or, just get out there. It's just, there's so much good food here.
What's your favorite?
Depends on what we're talking about.
What's the most recent one that you've liked?
Honestly, we've gone there quite a few times, but man, we went to Butcher's Union not that long ago.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, and I don't know what they did, but the steak I got was 10 times better than what I've had in the past, and oh my God, I don't know if they're just upgrading there, but it was really, really good this last time. We tried the new seafood place downtown, the seafood company. Oh my God, so delicious. Oh man, I'm a big food guy, man. I could talk about food for hours.
Well, there's lots of that in Grand Rapids for sure. Yeah. What about you? What other restaurants do you like in the Grand Rapids area?
Oh man,
like what would
Chinese
be your
and
number
Thai
one?
food are my 2 favorites. So
Okay, what's the best Chinese food in Grand Rapids?
it's hard. So there's a small, fairly local one that is I've been wanting to go, but there's so many times that I just haven't had time. So it keeps popping in the back of my head. It's Tea Garden it's right by us, 28th in the Beltline.
Okay.
They're kind of a smaller place, good price, good portions, and they're just good. They're not you don't picture them as like that authentic, like it's like the 100%, it's like hand breaded and all that, but it just tastes good.
Yeah. Okay.
So I like that one. And probably Thai food is my favorite. Thai Express over by my house, Kalamazoo-ish area and 44th area is probably my favorite.
Okay. So about Grand Rapids still, what would make it a great place for somebody to live and work?
It's kind of getting there. I think what they're planning on doing with the river there, trying to make it into a boardwalk and trying to have more activities down there, I think that's going to do a lot. The one thing I always have a hard time finding is actually what's going on around Grand Rapids. Like, I actually have to really look sometimes. Like, it doesn't like always just hit you in the face or nothing like that. So, you know, when people talk about it, like I saw one of your TikToks and you were talking about this, like something was going on this weekend. You know, stuff like that I love to watch, because sometimes it's like you almost have to look it around. But I wish I kind of did something like it's a little easier to find out what's going on and kind of see things around there instead of trying to scroll through these different
like one place to find. There is a couple good websites. I think GR Now does some of that posting, and then Grand Rapids Informed is always a good resource to go in and ask, right? So we post a video every week about things going on in Grand Rapids, but we're posting 3 things. There's 300 things going on in Grand Rapids, so there's so much more for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the growth is my favorite, is just seeing all the businesses coming in, all the different, job opportunities that keep opening up, because it's, in my mind, at least from what I see, and maybe it just tailors the data to me, is that I see a lot of like just opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot more growth that way.
You see them because you're open to them, right?
That is very
so
true.
I think a lot of times when you don't see that, you're not looking for it. So it's definitely there. So what would be some like hidden gems or something that somebody from visiting from out of town should check out?
Any park. Honestly, every park we have is great.
What's the best one for disc golfing?
The best one, so the easiest, smoothest, calmest one, if you just kind of want a relaxed day, is going to be Old Farm Shores.
Okay.
That's kind of like a par 3 across everything, but there are some medium to
Where's
long
that at?
throws. It's over by, I think, 52nd and Breton area. There's a park back there. Right there, there's a decent-sized one.
Okay.
And there's little water spots, and there's pickleball, and there's all of
Pickleball's such a thing now.
It's huge right now. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to check that one out yet.
Not me.
Oh, man.
But what about you, Devin? What's some hidden gems that somebody should check out?
Man, that's a hard one, because it's like there's so many, and there's really a lot of great places around Grand Rapids. Like, it's kind of really what you're looking for. I mean, yeah, honestly, like disc golfing is always fun. I'm more partial to the one on the Brewer lately. It's over on 84th Street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That one's always a good time. Yeah, man, there's just so much. Honestly, it's like kind of even hard. But yeah, the parks, just getting out there, even Riverside Park. I mean, with the food truck
when it's not flooded, right?
When that got flooded, but they're doing like the food truck Fridays back up again, stuff like that. It's just always a great experience if you can find the parking. But
yeah, we were talking about doing once a month where we go out to was it Rosa Circle? Is that where they have kind of like the Thursdays, relaxed Thursdays or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I just saw him go live and I watched him for 10 minutes. Like, we're doing this every month. So it's just like they have food trucks show up and there's tables all over and you just kind of hang out and it's just calm and you just hear the bird. It's just kind of a relaxing place to be.
Yeah, Rosa Park. I mean, that they just went through a remodel down there too. So
I haven't even seen that. So I'm excited to get down there.
All right. In your opinion, what sets Grand Rapids apart from other cities that you've been to or lived at?
Here, I go first. So I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Anchorage, Alaska. I've lived in a lot of different cities and been in a lot of cities, obviously being in the Army and stuff like that. But honestly, I think it's the people. Like, you wouldn't imagine, like, because the people here actually are really great. Like, you go to stores and you go into these different places and people are just actually really friendly. Like, I spent a lot of time in Atlanta and Columbus and, a lot of different places, but it's like the people here are they're good people. I don't know. It's hard to kind of put your thumb on it, but you know what I mean? It's just, they're nice, they're friendly. It's just, they're a lot of them are actually very helpful for the most part. It's people, man.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's people usually act like they're treated, right? And if you're treated nice, then you're going to act nice, and it feeds off each other, right?
Exactly.
So, and creates a culture of what we have.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things when we moved back from Florida, we were like, oh my gosh, people let you drive and they're not cutting you off. And
so you didn't know what you had until you didn't have it, right?
It was like, I remember I used to tell people, it was like, we were on a busy road there. And I remember coming to a stop sign or a stop light, and it hit yellow. 6 cars went through it, and one of them flipped me off on the way. I was like,
yeah, get out of my way.
Not that all Florida people, I don't want to put them all down, because I'm sure there are a lot of nice people there, but it's just some of the experience driving there was just totally different than what we do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us give each other, every city has the good and the bad and all of that. And I think one of the things I see a lot of families, I think there's a lot of Christian families in this area. And one of the things that I like is when I do see someone get treated wrong, it's usually learning experience. And I love to see that part. So it's like if it's a young kid and some other kid called them a name, the parents or the teachers or someone just next to them is like, hey, it's okay. Maybe they're going through something. So we're very understanding with where each other are at to a point. And I think I love that piece of Grand Rapids to where I don't feel unsafe going in certain areas, in most areas. And I feel like I'm comfortable with my family being here.
Yeah, I don't think people think about that until you experience something different, right?
Yeah.
For us, it's like a normal way of life, right?
Yeah, one car goes through, it's like, oh, you jerk, I'm coming to get you. No.
Didn't we get graded like the top 20 cities or something like that?
I feel like we're always there. And are we there this year? I don't know, but as a real estate agent, right, there's 3,600 real estate agents in the West Michigan area, and we have to think as individual real estate agents what makes us different. I'm sure there's a similar thing in insurance where there's lots of different insurance companies, lots of different choices. What sets you guys apart as a insurance company? Like how do you treat your clients, or what makes you the insurance company of choice?
So honestly, in my opinion anyways, it's all subjective, but I think what we do really well is we're kind of going back to more old school. It sounds crazy to go back to move forward, but
sometimes you got to do that.
Sometimes you got to. So going back to having the conversations, not just matching coverages, but really kind of actually caring about your clients, really understanding them. We try every opportunity we can to reach out to the clients, always try to reach out before renewals and have that conversation as soon as we get them. Always trying to make sure we're always ahead of everything else. So because we've been in situations in our lives where it's like, you get surprised by something or something comes out of the blue, where we want to make sure it's like the simplest journey for them and they're fully covered and not really like holding them home, but understanding what they're buying, because insurance is a very expensive piece of paper, especially if you don't know what you're buying. So it can frustrate you. You're like, man, why am I spending $100 a month on this, $200 a month? Well, it's because you don't understand what you're buying, and it's very expensive because you don't know what you're getting out of it. And a lot of people think it's a scam and all this. It's because they've been in these positions in their lives where they thought they had coverage for something and they actually didn't, and their agent didn't take the time to talk to them and figure out, okay, what are you actually really looking for? What can I actually help you obtain? Are you trying to get to a point where you have all the coverages you need and you up to this? Maybe you can't afford that right now, so let's put a plan in place and let's okay, let's start here and then let's move up here and then let's get this, once we kind of get to that point so you get your end game. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of agents are doing that anymore. It's just very, and actually, I think I know why. It's because a lot of companies are pushing, call us, say 15%, call us, do this. It's all money, money, money. Where it's not. It's like, hey, look, how can we help you and help you succeed in life instead of being, okay, well, how can we just get money from you?
Yeah, it's not always about the money, right?
Exactly.
It's about making sure you have the right product for what you're looking for, and I'm glad you have a focus on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's to piggyback on that. lightly because it's a lot of insurance talk. One of the things that we focus on when we do, because agents get commissions and they get scales and all that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things we did is premium does always play a factor, like how much the premium is, how much you pay, right? And that's like a metric. We focus and actually pay our agents based on policies. So it's basically take the money out of it, find out what they need first, present it to them, and they may not pick it, right? It might not be the something that they can afford or is in their budget, but that's what we focus on first and second. So I think that's the biggest thing that sets us apart from the question I would ask everybody is when is the last time you had a renewal on your policy and your agent called you?
Never.
And I'm sure you loved it up, right? So there you go. That's one thing we want to connect. We actually want to have a relationship with the clients instead of having more clients, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? We know that we're going to make it and we're going to be financially successful in 5 years, 10 years, whatever the play is, right? We're kind of playing that infinite game, as you call it.
Sure.
Right? We're going to build it. Even if we're not the ones running it, maybe we laid the first brick and our family or the next person behind us lays the second and third brick. But we know that that's what the piece is. So we want to have a community around. Kind of weird, right? Your insurance guys is like a community member, but we want to actually like be part of that, not just throw 100 of them in the door and make as much money as we can and go on a yacht. I still want to go on a yacht, by the way. But
Dare to dream.
Dare to dream. Yeah.
brick number 2.
There you go.
Maybe your son will take you on that yacht.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. So it's obvious you guys are super passionate about helping people and helping your community and that insurance. How can someone get in touch with you if they're looking for your services?
Super simple. Phone number, if you ever want to call us directly, we have agents. So it's 888-807-4144. Otherwise, anything at Valor Insure.
Okay.
ValorInsure.com.
That's YouTube.
Or anything at Valor Insure.
YouTube,
Okay.
TikTok, Instagram,
Everything but Twitter.
Facebook, whatever. Everything but Twitter. Yeah, we're just on Twitter. Or Pinterest.
Yeah.
Pinterest. What do you do on there?
No, I've been watching a lot of shows and stuff. A lot of people are starting to get a little bit more into Pinterest. Depends on what your industry is. It just doesn't fit for us.
Pinterest is kind of a hot topic if you want to go a little bit, know some secrets. So if you're trying to grow fast, there's 2 platforms, Pinterest and TikTok.
Yeah.
So if you want to put a video out today that could hit 1 million viewers tomorrow, those are the 2 platforms you do.
Okay.
All right. If you want to grow organically and a little bit slower, you're going to do more of the YouTube and the Facebook and the Instagram style.
Okay. Interesting.
Always recommend YouTube, though.
Yeah.
Always recommend YouTube.
Still figuring that out. Maybe I'll get
should
some
always
tips
be
from you
YouTube.
guys.
Yeah.
But well, that concludes our podcast. Thank you, Mark and Devin, for coming in and sharing your insight on insurance and YouTube and Grand Rapids. I'm sure our viewers appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thank you. It was
Appreciate
really
it.
nice having us.
Yeah, and you guys have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
You too.